up and start playing Apna game. Download the app now.
भाई अपना गेम तो आज आरसीबी और एसआरएच को खेलना पड़ेगा because this is no qualifier. This is eliminator, which means loser goes home. That is the point of this particular match. That's it. We've reached the eliminator. Let's call in Pragyan Ojha and Borya Majumdar. Good morning, gentlemen. Borya, Virat is going to give himself a present or no?
Yeah, 2 months you've struggled for this day, and then all of a sudden, if you lose your home, it's a huge game. I mean, Pragyan was so right when he said yesterday that at least the first match, the qualifier gives you one more opportunity, so the stakes are high, but at least you have a breather. Here, it's done and dusted, and you go home. Virat, yes, I mean, Virat being Virat, he loves these matches. He loves the stage, he loves the platform. He's always ready for a fight. He's a fighter, and that's what. And if anybody will want to take him on, it's Warner. So these two are two champions. I mean, they're like at one level two of the most graceful, elegant, combative street fighters, champions. I mean, what combo these two are. I mean, one fellow scores 970 odd in 2016, the other chap scores 848, and the final SRH beat RCB. So this will be one heck of a tussle. You know, for me, this is about who takes pressure better, who handles it better. And I somehow feel RCB are a bit down to me because of the momentum that SRH has going into the game, the balance that SRH has going into the game at the top of the order with Riddhi and now the bowling with Holder. But again, it's too close to call. So I'm saying SRH. It's like Georgia. You know, Trump is still winning by 1,500, which will go any moment, or Pennsylvania, which is now gone from him, so it's Biden as president. This one is as close as that. Who wins? Who knows?
Pragyan, who is better at handling pressure according to you, Warner or Virat?
I think both are very good at handling the pressure. But if you look at the stats, RCB has lost 4 games. Last 4 games they've lost. But if you look at SRH, they have been winning. And I told you, it's all about the momentum that you get. So I think if you talk about momentum, it's SRH which has a little bit of edge over RCB. But saying that, it's a very important point. Who handles pressure well? Who forgets their past and thinks that, this is the final game. This is where we have to do well. And from here on, we have got another 2 more games to go after this. So that's what they must be thinking. Other things are done. It's all over. Now it's what you're going to do now. What is going to happen tonight, and from now on will decide your fate. Saying that, when you talk about Abu Dhabi, it's been a very good venue for SRH. I would like to say they've played 3, they won 2. And RCB, it's been like 50-50. They played 4 and they've lost 2 and won 2. So whoever uses because these two teams have played well in Abu Dhabi, whoever uses the conditions well, whoever reads the wicket and the dimensions well will have advantage. These are the things which come into picture when it's a tight game. It's how you take advantage of things before the other team does. So this is what they should be planning. You're not playing a MI. You're not playing a MI, which is a gun side. You're playing SRH. I'm talking about Bangalore's point of view. You're playing SRH. So you have to plan accordingly. They also have a fragile middle order, both the teams. So for me, it would be clearly, they have to take a bold decision. If you talk about RCB, they can Virat can go open and get Aaron Finch in the middle. It gives you a solid boost to your team. Those moving balls for Aaron Finch, ball coming in, it won't happen in the middle order. The balls won't do much because of the ball getting old and doesn't move too much. So that's what I feel.
What do you reckon the side should do after, say, winning the toss?
That's clearly, if there is no due, then it's up to you what you want to do. But if you think if there is a little bit of chance of due, then go and bowl first. That's what they should do.
So Pragyan's also answered Pradeep Kumar Bamra's question. He was asking, should Virat open today? Your thoughts on that, Borega?
See, firstly, I want to address, we keep talking about this word pressure. What is pressure? I mean, it's not an elephant in the room. It's a concept. And I mean, I kept asking Sachin because I don't think there's been anybody in the world ever, and here I say ever, as a cricketer who's played with more pressure. So I said, pressure, every time you walked out and people go Sachin, Sachin. And there is pressure at every level. One time he and I were coming out of his house in his car, and two guys just came running from across the road. If you've been to his house in Bandra, that entrance to that by lane, and literally came in front of his car and could have been run over. Now he was like, "Arey kya?" And he said something in Marathi and then opened the window. And these guys said, "We want a selfie or a photograph." And I looked at him and said, "How do you even survive? You can't go anywhere. You can't meet anybody. You can't do anything. How do you even survive being Sachin Tendulkar? How do you handle this kind of pressure?" And he was like, "Okay, so I'll give you the choice. Do you want to be in my position?" When you ask God that, God, at the age of 40, I want to be Bharat Ratna, I want to be so and so, I want to score 35,000 runs, or do I not want this pressure? You take the answer. And that's the whole point, that you start enjoying the pressure. You start, because as an international sportsman, I'm sure when Pragyan Ojha was told, "Pragyan, 5 wickets, boss. Pragyan, win us the match, boss." So it sort of starts exciting you. It starts getting you into a zone where you as a performer want that stage. And I think that's what Virat Kohli and David Warner and AB de Villiers and these guys love. They want to be the cynosure of attention. They want to be when people say, "Oh, Ridhima, you're a great anchor. Oh, Pragyan, you're a great bowler." Unlike, theek hai yaar, wo to chalta hai. That's not what these men are about. And that is what will decide. So, pressure is, the call is very simple. You embrace it, or you get bowled over by it. Because if you get bowled over by it, you will 100% succumb and collapse. If you start embracing pressure, it's a lovely bedfellow. Okay?
Right.
You want to live with that pressure because that's what life is all about. That's the point. I mean, Virat, you said, I agree with Pragyan entirely. I mean, Sandy Sharma, but then again, Sandy Sharma's got 7 times against Virat, right? So
Yeah.
he will swing the ball in and in and in. Aaron Finch is susceptible, and he's not played 4-5 games. They've tried Josh Philippe. So the best place for Aaron Finch would be in the middle, as Pragyan says. But then Virat, coming at the top, has to tell himself, "I will bat 15." And if he doesn't, then what happens to RCB? But that's the call, that's the pressure. So captain, take it. I mean, if the captain stands up and takes it and leads by example, half the job there is done.
And that also sort of brings in another viewer. Avro Mukherjee is asking just that, Pragyan, with Sandeep Sharma starting the bowling. Is it suitable for Virat to open because he's taken his wickets many times?
See, we're talking about Virat Kohli.
Kohli, exactly.
We're talking about Virat Kohli. I told you, for few people, numbers, they really, don't matter. This guy, if he thinks, he's opening and he's got that cushion of 3-4 overs, you will not see that kind of approach. He will take his time, he will build himself, and once he is done, he has to negate just couple of overs. Once that swing stops, then I'll see who's going to take him on. That's how it is. That's Virat Kohli for you. That's why I'm telling you. I will prefer Virat Kohli open. He can be a better bet to handle this swing than Aaron Finch, because he's got a problem with his technique. Virat doesn't have a problem with his technique. If same Sandeep Sharma bowls him in a 50-over game, we will see. We will see what Sandeep Sharma does or what a Virat Kohli will do. We all know. So that's why I'm telling you. If you talk about percentage cricket, Virat has a solid technique and he can negate those initial swings.
Right.
This is
What is
Sandeep
that,
Sharma you're talking about. Jimmy Anderson in 2014 worked him out 10 times. Then he goes there and scores 300s in a 5-test series with 4 slips. That's Virat Kohli. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandeep Sharma has picked him 7 times. Even if he picks him 17 times, every time you pitch Virat Kohli against anybody, you say Virat Kohli. He's that good. So there's no, I mean, there are certain players you'll always back. And Virat Kohli is one. He's a genius. He's an absolute mastermind. As Pragyan said.
Sorry, we've lost your audio, Bhadia. We've lost your audio.
Yeah.
Now,
I'll be back, because Deep Das Gupta was trying to call. Must be he's trying to join. So please, somebody help him if he wants to join. He's saying, haven't got the link. If Abhin's there, Abhin, can you send the link to Deep Dasgupta? Is waiting to join, please. Or Jitu, can you please send Deep Dasgupta the link? If he's woken up at this point in time with his cup of coffee and we don't let him join, he'll revolt. So that's something that anyway.
All right.
That's the point. I mean, yeah, go on.
Now, I was, you've got a Virat Kohli and ABD on the other side. But again, you've got a Rashid Khan on the other side as well. He's had a fantastic tournament. What should be RCB's game plan for the rest of RCB against Rashid Khan?
You just you just try and play him like a normal bowler. See, he is a good bowler. You have that pressure, but you're putting more pressure on yourself by thinking I'm facing Rashid Khan. If you, as I told you, when you're running without any extra baggage, you are running well. But why carry those extra baggage? As simple as that. You are playing him. You have to face him. That is the reality of life. Play him like a normal bowler. If you think you're playing Rashid Khan, if you think that he's going to get you out, then he's already ahead of you. So don't let that affect you. Don't give that advantage to someone like Rashid Khan. Even if I'm bowling to a Virat Kohli, I will never think I'm bowling to a Virat Kohli. I know he's very good, but is there a choice that when I'm bowling to Virat Kohli not get runs against me? So the best thing is you just have to think at that point of time, just focus, saying that I'm bowling to a batsman and I have to get him out. Or maybe I'm a batsman. If it's a brilliant bowler, I just have to play with the merit of the ball. I don't have to think I'm facing Rashid Khan. You don't want that kind of extra pressure on yourself.
Right. And we're joined by Deep Dasgupta. Good morning, Deep. And of course, we are discussing RCB versus SRH. Your thoughts on who can handle the pressure better today?
Well, I guess if you look at it as a team, I think SRH, their attitude towards their approach towards the game and the tournament has been, and has always been actually, kind of refreshing and kind of, we'll give our best and we'll see what happens kind. RCB, this is an important year for RCB. They are a good side. They've played good cricket. They've never won it. So yeah, there would be a certain amount of pressure on RCB and SRH. I think, nobody gave them a chance. So I think they'll be a little more freer in their approach.
Okay. But what are the changes in RCB's lineup? I believe Morris and Saini are injured. So any changes that you think there?
I would have envisaged Aaron Finch coming back. I mean, Aaron Finch coming back. Virat said Saini wasn't up to the mark the last time. So we've got to see. But they want their best men on the park on a big day. So if they can get him back, they will get him back. And Morris is very important for them. Having said that, I think Josh Philippe hasn't made the most of it, despite his big bash and all the things that he came with. I think Aaron Finch. Deep made a good point about if Sunrisers lose tonight, it's still a successful campaign. Because the way they've come back, they will tell themselves they've beaten the top three. It's still a reasonably good campaign. RCB, 4 on the trot, and if it's 5 on the trot, it's not the campaign that they will be proud of. So in terms of real pressure, I think it's more on RCB compared to a Sunrisers Hyderabad. But that's it. I mean, Virat Kohli loves the pressure. Every time Virat Kohli walks out to bat, you want 100. So that's it for me. Who's got more hunger in the belly? And both these chaps, Kohli and Warner, they're the two best in the world. So it's a cracker. It's very difficult to call. It's very, very difficult to call for anybody, whether it's Pragyan, Deep, me, or you.
All right. So with that, let's talk about our fantasy tips. That is something which is in our hands for sure. Whatever. So let's get into that. It is Player Sports presents our fantasy tips. So,
but last couple of games, it was not in our hands. Was also
I mean, if something like Trailblazers. The Mumbai Indians match was very much in our hands. I mean, Bumrah and Bolt, captain, vice captain, Bumrah captain, Bolt vice captain, went like a dream. Because I had not kept Ajinkya, I had not kept Prithvi. So, I'd kept Shreyash, but I didn't think 0 for 3. I thought 0 for 2. So that's the team I was going with. So, and I had gone with that team. But 0 for 3 was a bit much even for me. Having said that, I've gone with a 6-5-7-4 two-team option. 7-4 Hyderabad, 6-5 also Hyderabad. You know, I've 6 players picked themselves from Hyderabad on current form. Rashid Khan, Jason Holder, Sandy Sharma, David Warner, Wriddhiman Saha, Manish Pandey. So I've picked the way I've gone about it is I've first picked the 6 from Hyderabad, and then I've gone to RCB, and I've gone with obviously Padikkal. The choice then becomes one between Virat and AB de Villiers because of credit points. So I actually think Virat will go big and will open. So I've picked Virat. Now you might say you're an absolute moron. Might be. I've picked Virat. And the way I've gone about it is I've gone with Yuzvendra Chahal, Mohammad Siraj. Why Mohammad Siraj? Because Mohammad Siraj has this uncanny ability of giving me power play wickets like Sandeep Sharma if he's given the ball in the power play, which he should. So Yuzvendra Chahal, Mohammad Siraj, Devdutt Padikkal, Virat Kohli at that last spot is actually a tie-up between a Chris Morris or a AB de Villiers or an Aaron Finch. So that's how I have formulated my team.
Okay, but I'm not surprised that you picked Virat because you always pick Virat in high pressure matches.
Yeah, I will. And that's an emotional call. I don't care about fantasy there. Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli. When India plays a World Cup final, he gets out for a duck, he's still there for me because that's Virat Kohli. There's certain players. If Sachin Tendulkar today decides to come back and play, I will still pick Sachin Tendulkar. Right. That's fandom.
Right. Deep, who do you think is going to be their day today? There's a Virat, there's an ABD, there's a David Warner. Which of the superstars are going to perform?
Listen, I honestly believe that the surface in Abu Dhabi is a really brilliant surface, especially for fast bowlers and batsmen. So, I mean, ideally speaking, I would like to see all of them fire and have a high scoring game or at least a 170 game, 175.
Deep, give me a tip. So, if you are saying batsmen and fast bowlers, so should I drop Rashid Khan and get de Villiers into the side?
Oh, that's a tricky one. See, I'll tell you this: there won't be any help from the surface, right, for the spinner. But Rashid is a bowler who really does not need a lot of help from the surface. So that's a tricky one. See, the other thing is middle overs. ABD is not great against spin. Okay, he is not great against spin. Neither is Virat great against spin comparatively. So there isn't anyone out there who plays spin well. So yeah, I guess Rashid.
Okay.
All right, Rashid it is. What about you, Pragyan? Any tips on fantasy and which of the superstars are you gunning for?
Definitely Virat Kohli for sure. And I'll back the young boy, Devdutt Padikkal. I'm very sure he's going to have the same run that he's been having all this while. So he'll be a man to watch out for. I think he'll make the difference.
So Padikkal is your punt. Is that what you're saying will make the difference in the fantasy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, not fantasy.
Okay, overall
fantasy.
But also fantasy then.
Again, frankly, if he does make a difference in your game, then he will also get you enough.
No, I was actually I was talking from the game's point of view. I wasn't actually talking from fantasy because fantasy is little something I need to get some knowledge about.
No, but what you said about Padikkal that he will have the same run. That's it. I mean, if he does have the same run, then definitely he will give you enough number of fantasy points to bank on. So it's quality cricket at the end of the day. That's it. But Saurav Ganguly is also very gung-ho about Devdutt Padikkal. I mean, in that interview to me, he kept talking about Devdutt Padikkal, saying Devdutt Padikkal looks very much like him when he plays those offside shots. And he said, more than me, he has the onside as well. And that at this age, if he has the off and the on, he's tall, he looks extremely elegant, he has the big shots. This is the guy to watch out for. And he said, look, we want a left-handed opener for India in the shorter format because Shikhar Dhawan, how many more years in the T20 format, we've got to wait and see. So yes, we want an Indian opener at the top alongside maybe a KL Rahul or a Prithvi Shaw. So Devdutt Padikkal is definitely, so the BCCI president was heaping praise on Devdutt Padikkal for the way this tournament has happened. I'm playing out that interview, that part of that interview with Saurabh on Padikkal today, on India Today, and we'll put it on Sports Today at night if Devdutt goes well.
I
Okay,
wish
Wriddhiman.
I just had
Yeah,
one wish. I wish
yeah.
this boy's parents decided to stay back in Hyderabad rather than going to Bangalore.
We'll get that done, Pragyan. Once you become the coach of Hyderabad, I'll tell Mohammad Azharuddin that once Pragyan's coach, we will get him back.
No, no,
But
no. On a serious note, but
but
seriously,
Deep, yeah,
Yeah.
both of you, Deep go, Pragyan go. How good is Devdutt? And have you been impressed by him as the young, uncapped player from the Indian standpoint? How good is Devdutt?
Okay, how I see it is he's one of the better batsmen we've seen right through this tournament, irrespective capped, uncapped, young, old. He's just looked very good. What impressed me more is, apart from all that you said, is he was playing for the first time the top bowlers in the world, be it Bumrah, be it uh, Jofra Archer, Rabada.
Rabada.
Not even for once did I see him an iota of uncomfortable, him being, with pace, with movement, or the occasion. So, I think that, I mean, obviously he's got the game, he's got the temperament. And also, if you see that journey of his, the last 14 games, it started off as brilliant. Then there was this gap in between of 4 games, 5 games, when one, he wasn't scoring. Second, when he was scoring, he wasn't scoring quick enough. Then there was this whole, I wouldn't say criticism would be too harsh a word, but yeah, there were these murmurs about, he should be batting a little quicker and his strike rate needs to go up. And then he goes back to scoring runs with a higher strike rate. So it's not that he's only seen the good side of the story. I mean, he's also been criticized or been asked to change his game a bit. So I think he has almost everything. I mean, he has everything that one needs to be successful at that level, apart from just the basic talent.
Pragyan?
Yeah, I think Deep Bhai will agree with me. It is like 1+1 offer, isn't it, Deep Bhai, when you're playing for your country or you're playing IPL? uh, Once you give that impression that you belong there, everybody will be watching you. One
Yeah.
game in India, especially one game, you just put, you go down a little bit, then everybody starts talking about you. And as a cricketer, I think you should not be focusing on that. And it's a great thing, he's playing with Virat Kohli, he's playing with Aaron Finch, he's playing with ABD. Two are, their country's captain, and one is a legend, ABD. So he should be talking to them. And saying that IPL has been brilliant, but I'd like to go back to domestic cricket. This is why domestic cricket is so important. You see last couple of years, the way he's been performing, the way he's been doing well. Karnataka won T20, Syed Mushtaq Ali. They look at this boy's stats. That's where you get your confidence. You play in domestic cricket, you dominate domestic cricket, then you are in that zone. You don't really think, as I told you earlier, when you're facing Rashid, you should not be thinking. The best thing to do is you should not be thinking you're facing Rashid. You should just be thinking, okay, a bowler is bowling to me. This is how I have to play. That's when you cut down your pressure. So same goes with Devdutt. When he's in that zone, when he's got so many runs, he just thinks that he's playing his own cricket. He's not bothered about who's the opponent, who's the bowler, or what's happening around. That is how he's got into that bubble where he just thinks that if he bats well, he's going to get runs, and that's how someone's approach should be.
Okay. In fact, the Pragyan, what he said, Saurav said to me the other day that he watched that semi-final between Bengal and Karnataka, difficult Eden Gardens wicket, and Bengal won and made the final. He said that team had KL Rahul. He said, I was watching that game And the only chap from Karnataka who got runs and looked decent to me and looked rather very good to me was Devdutt Padikkal. Now, if he can score runs at a Ranji level, at semi-final, a difficult wicket, morning game, swing, when the rest of the batting is collapsing around you, speaks volumes about the fellow's temperament and talent. And he said, that's the reason I think this chap is a man for the future. Ridhima had a power cut. She's back. Deep, yes.
No, quickly, I think you mentioned about white ball cricket. I think you need a left-hand opening bat more in the test matches, and you need a opening batsman in test matches more than white ball cricket. I think white ball cricket, you still have 2, 3, maybe 4 of them at this point in time. I mean, it'll be difficult to break that queue and jump that queue, but if he can manage to score runs in Ranji Trophy, though, I mean, even 80% of what he's done in T20 and one day, I mean, you need an opener in red ball cricket.
Okay. All right, Burga, we've got our comment section buzzing about your fantasy tips, because I believe that we've not given them the captain and vice captain. So Wriddhiman Saha has been asking, who's the captain, vice captain?
Okay, two. I mean, one is an emotional punt. So make 3 teams. One is a team just is a punt team, and that team has Virat Kohli. That team is captain Virat Kohli. So that team, don't come and tell me, oh, you know what, Virat didn't get a 50, or just go with Virat Kohli. The other, I mean, Bangalore, because of the fragility in that batting order, and if Hyderabad wins the toss and bowls, like Pragyan just said, if there's dew, I'll ask Deep that. Deep, is there dew in Abu Dhabi? Commonly?
Okay, it's a little tricky and unpredictable because it's an open field, right? If it's breezy, then the dew factor would be a little less. But there has been few match days where it wasn't windy enough, and then you had dew. So for me, I think it's a little unpredictable in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, so keeping that in mind, if that is the case, then it becomes even more challenging to formulate a plan. But as Pragyan said, if Hyderabad is bowling first, the Bangalore batting order has been a little wobbly and uncertain. I will go with you really want to take a punt, go with Sandeep Sharma. I went with Sandeep Sharma as captain the last game, by the way, and it was magic. I went with Sandeep Sharma as captain and Jason Holder as vice captain, and recommend that to you. I'll say go with either Sandeep, Jason, or Rashid as captain and the other as vice captain. Go with that, because if these two prize out 5 or 6 between them, then whoever is your batting side, and here I'm keeping in mind a 150 score from Bangalore, which has been their threshold, 150, 160. If that is their threshold, and there are 2 bowlers who get me 5 between them, then it's a very, very good punt to take. So that's one team with these 2 bowlers as captain, vice captain. The other one, Devdutt's captain. Devdutt's captain and Yuzvendra Chahal. Given the dew factor Deep is saying is unpredictable, I was thinking Morris or Chahal, one between the 2. I will go with so-and-so. So one team has Warner and Virat, captaincy, vice captaincy. So it's split. I want both champions to fire. One has Rashid / Sandeep / Holder as captain and vice captain. I would say not Rashid. Go with Holder and Sandeep. Why? Because bowl at the depth, bowl at the top, maximum chance of picking wickets. Rashid, people will expect that you will make him captain or vice captain. Here's a punt. So go with these 2. And the third is Devdutt Padikkal and Yuzvendra Chahal.
All I can tell you is that the match for sure seems very, very unpredictable. Deep, your predictions on who's going to be the winner out of this. Second place in the qualifier is
165, 170. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go RCB 51-49.
Okay, all right, that's pretty close. Pragyan, you're already smiling.
SRH. My home team.
Yeah.
That's not an option.
So we'd actually already discussed this. It has to be SRH on Sports Today, because if David Warner wins, he's coming on Sports Today. Is that right, Burga?
Yeah, I mean,
There's a flip side. There's a flip side.
No, I mean, if Virat gets to know this, then no interviews for me in future. So that's the flip side.
No. It's not that.
I'm joking. But on a serious note, I think SRH because of momentum. So more, I think SRH because of the winning momentum that they have, but very close. But I'll be really, Warner's been there, done that. He's had the taste. Honestly, if you ask me, as a cricket fan, I want Virat Kohli to win. David's close to me, and all of that is done, taken. But he's been there, done that, for God's sake. He's won the IPL. He's turned it around. Again, as captain, he scripted a fairy tale story. Last 3 games, you won and taken them to the playoffs. Enough, David. Enough. Now give it to Virat.
Boreada, with that logic, then MI should not be there.
Exactly.
For the moment, अभी तुम MI क्यों सोचता है? पहले आज का देखना.
No, I'm just telling you.
So I will put you in the spot. Wait, let Sunrisers and MI play the final. Then we will say home team versus what team. Then you will take that.
Yeah, no. Then
said it is Hyderabad.
No. I said now it's Hyderabad, but if it's SRH and Mumbai, it will be MI because Karmastan. No, Karmastan. So that's how I believe.
Boreada said it Hyderabad. He just said MI versus Hyderabad in the final.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
MI.
So Pragyan said MI. So, but anyway, as I said, I just and this is the cricket fan in me. I want Virat Kohli to make the final. The spice has to be there. Let it be Virat and Rohit at the toss. Let the country get divided. Let the IPL become the most watched TV event. Let us rock it on Sports Today. There's so much at stake, man.
I think in that way, if that happens, the first game, you remember, it just broke the TRP ratings and all, the record. If that happens, final will be like double that. That's what I feel. If it's MI versus RCB, amazing it will be.
Finals will be crazy. But anyway.
You keep asking fantasy. That's my fantasy. Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma at the toss of the 2020 IPL final.
That is wild fantasy.
But anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for joining in. Thank you so much, Deep, for taking out time for us this morning. And of course, it is a huge game today. RCB versus SRH. It's an eliminator. The loser goes back home. So who will make it to the second qualifier? Watch the mystery unfold, and we'll see you post the match.